Hello, my name is Shadow Templar 591, and I'm back doing something I hope I'll be doing more of, and that is my What Is videos. For those who don't know, my What Is videos are basically kind of beginner guides, impression-y kind of videos that I go over, who the game is made by, what kind of game is it, then I go into the normal stuff, story, gameplay, aesthetics, music, controls, if the game has a goal, does it accomplish it, price, and then I give, after that, my final thoughts. So this game is made by Thunder Locust Studios. This is their first game. I would say they did a very good job with it. The story basically is, you are a Viking who dies unhonorably, but has a second chance of getting into Valhalla. For those who don't know, basically in ancient Viking culture and Norse culture in general, the only way you could get into Valhalla, which is basically heaven, or think of it kind of like Mount Olympus, but if humans could go there as well, was by dying honorably in battle. Your character does not, but she gets a second chance at that. And that is correct. You do play as a woman, so which is usually, and I'm not gonna hop onto this too much. It's nice. It adds especially with the story, it adds a interesting dynamic with everything. So that story, gameplay, it's an isometric action adventure. WASD to move, space to do, to dodge, right click, left click to do basic attack, right click heavy attack. Then at the top, you don't start with these, but these are different god piles you can get, and cycles through them, and they do different stuff. Like this one will block damage, this one makes a decoy of myself, the two of those, that one makes me move faster, and so on and so forth. And they're all based on different gods. Like, I think the shield one is based on Heimdall. Basically the decoy of me is based on Loki. Makes sense. So it all ties in. Like the gameplay mechanics really tie into the overall story and the aesthetics. And let's move on to the aesthetic, because I stopped here because this is one thing, and there's almost one of these in every level where you're just gonna get this huge vista of the level, and at first you may be like, well, I can't get there. But in 9 out of 10 times of these levels, just like in, a Dark Souls or a Demon Souls game, if you can see it, you can go there. So we can go to that giant stone, we can go to that pit, disease pit, we can go to the right. So that's really nice. How I describe the aesthetic of this game for me, would be like, I describe it two ways. Because I don't know the proper artistic terms, so I'm gonna give examples. So basically, the environments are rendered as if they were. It reminds me of the art style of like Dragon's Crown and games like that, in terms of the environment, and the characters remind me of Disney movies, old Disney movies. Like I'm talking about like Sword in the Stone and movies like that. And it makes a lot of sense because these the characters are actually hand drawn, so that it makes a lot of sense. Controls, I kind of went over that. They feel intuitive. You can actually play with a gamepad. I don't know if that would be better or worse, but I think either way it would work, to be honest. Music. So I'm just going to be silent for a couple seconds and let you guys just listen to this. That almost fits the aesthetic perfectly. This is a nice, tranquil place. You got tranquil music, and I would say throughout the game, it continues to be like that. The music really hits home of of the areas and the boss battles and everything. It really ties in nice with the aesthetics and the gameplay and the story, so they did a really bang up job there. And okay, so how do you beat this game? What it really comes down to is each level, I don't want to say has basically you're trying to get to, each level will have a rune, which is also based on ancient Norse mythology. They were basically stones that they believed that had some kind of special properties. In this level, basically you have to find these stones, those little stone that I just stepped on that was glowing, and basically you open up a little area, you'll fight an enemy, and then you go on and you'll get the rune, and then you'll fight the boss. That's a little different from most of the levels. Most levels you have to there's 2 levels in I guess a world, and then you face those 2, you get the runes in each of those levels, and then you basically fight the boss. You need each runes from each world, and you fight the boss. But there's side things you can do. One of the and before I talk about those side things, I want to talk about this. So this healed me. This and I already got the dialogue, so you won't get this. But this is also connected to Norse mythology, and your narrator will tell you. I won't tell you who it is, because once again, that's kind of, I found it really cool with narrator was, and it was a really nice surprise, so I don't want to spoil too much. But as you can see, I found all 3 ruins. I fought the enemy that came out of here, basically, and then here's the ruin. It would be sitting up there. You step on this, and you get it, and then you leave. And then you can come back. There's golden apples, which until I played this game, I only thought it was in Greek mythology, but apparently it's also in Norse. So that was interesting for me. That was a cool thing to find out. That you can find, and they'll gain your health. Also, and I didn't show this, but there'll be statues of the gods. They'll give you these powers. You don't get them. Technically, you can go through the game and never get any of the powers, technically, from the gods. So, I'll go back and show that, because I don't think I showed that. So, and then, this is kind of the whole hub world. There's a ruin. Up to the top is, if you go straight up, it'll be the boss room. I won't show it. I won't show the boss. You can, it's actually in the trailer, but for those because everyone defines spoils of different things, I'll try to not say too much, but if you're really curious, you can see this one in the trailer. Let's see if I can get to this way. The statue of the god that I'm looking for. And this is basically your tutorial level. So this introduces you to the mechanics, the monsters, stuff like that. I'm just gonna ignore them if I can, because they're not really that dangerous. So as you probably see, I'm using heavy attack. So I could use a light attack, but it's not gonna work. So certain items and certain things you interact and certain enemies, I believe actually enemies will work either with light or heavy attacks. But certain objects you interact with will only work with a heavy attack. You can't use them with a light attack. So going back to what I was talking about, the statues of the god, this is one of them. And then it'll come in when you first come here. You'll step on it, the screen will widen open, and it'll show you the god, it'll give you the power, and it'll say, from whichever god. I wanna say this is friend? It's the one that's the goddess of fertility, and I don't remember which one that is. Sorry, Norse mythology is not my strongest forte. Greek is obviously growing up in the West, we learned about it, and it's basically ingrained into our culture. And then personally for me, Egyptian was my second favorite. I do know a little Norse mythology from playing a lot of Asian mythology, but I'm if you quizzed me on it, I probably wouldn't do too well on it. And that's another thing that why I'm getting back to the hub world, I'll talk about. So in this is basically the Norse mythology. This is like, you're in the, like, if Norse mythology was real, you're in here. So you go out to, if it's a place that's significant in Norse mythology, you'll go there. If there's a character who's significant in Norse mythology and even maybe not as significant as you might think, you'll probably see them in one way. You'll interact with them in some way. You may not. You may just see them going through one of the levels, but, you may not directly talk to them, is kind of what I'm saying, or fight them. They may be just kind of someone you see. So this is the hub world. I won't go to the center, because that sends you the final boss and spoilers and all that, but the maps are really nice, so I'm going to stay over here, since that's the level I showed. So this little symbol here, that's basically... And there's really not much, more to talk about. I'm really gonna kind of go into tips. As far as does this game accomplish its goal? I mean, it's fun. It definitely helps you. Like, after this, I didn't know a lot about Norse mythology, but this made me want to go on Wikipedia and learn more. So I definitely think if you're, an ancient, if you like history, if you like mythology, even if you're kind of like, fighting games, I think it isn't a very in-depth fighting game, but it's really a really nice pick up and play. It's not very long. I beat it in 5 hours, but there's a lot of replay if you want to try to beat, and there's achievements for this, beating, one of the bosses without using any, taking any damage, or using any of the god powers you got, or killing certain enemies that maybe the boss spawns, and so on and so forth. So if that's just saying, definitely a lot of replayability for you. Personally, that's not my game, so I kind of beat it with, I took more from the whole Norse mythology part, so that was really fun for me. And so I think those are definitely the 3 people who are really going to enjoy this. I would definitely, though, say, if you can get it for a pretty cheap price, and I know there's going to be a Valhalla edition coming out, which basically, from what we know so far, it's going to have a harder mode. I don't know if that's going to mean like a harder difficulty or an arena mode, or kind of what's going on there. That's supposed to come up September 9th, so fairly quickly, but Thunder Locust hasn't really given us too much on that. I'd say check their website for more, or the Steam page. So I guess, so every world has a map, and I should have pulled this up. This has even the hub world has a map. It shows you the different ruins and where they are. But basically, if you, and it's, you can bind the keys, but for me it's on escape, as normal, to different buttons. But this map for the world will pop up, and then it shows you everything. So basically, it shows you this symbol is basically the ruins. These little squiggles will tell you not only maybe where those golden apples I was talking to you about. They have a specific name. Sorry about that. They have a specific name, but I forget them. And then this is basically showing you where the god powers is. So so you can see where everything is. It doesn't obfuscate anything. And then, but those circles might not just be the golden apples. They may be some other really cool event. So, I really like that. So, because then it's not like you're spending hours and hours for looking for something. And I know it's happened to me, and it's probably happened to a lot of people. And you find you're like, how did I not see that? So, I mean, that's really cool. If you want to make it, I guess, extra difficult, you could just, I guess, try not to look at the map. It's kind of hard since it's kind of in the middle of the hub world. But yeah, that's really That's really it. This isn't a very long game. It's not a very in-depth game, but what there is, it doesn't outstay its welcome, and it's really fun. And I really enjoyed it, and I think you would, if you're one of the types of people I described sooner, I think you would too. So on that note, guys, my name has been Shadow Templar 591, and as always, guys, have a great day.